Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'd like to talk to you today about the foreclosure, the home foreclosure process in Georgia. And this is really only for Georgia residents because foreclosure works different in every state. Some states have what they call judicial foreclosure, where the lender has to go to court. Some states are non-judicial. Georgia happens to be non-judicial. And the downside to that is that the foreclosing lender can literally foreclose on your property, take title in less than 40 days. Now, again, normally it takes longer than that, but the point I'm making is if you get a notice that you're in foreclosure in Georgia, you need to move very quickly. You need to speak to an attorney. You need to figure out what your options would be, because if you wait until 2 or 3 days before the foreclosure, it's going to be very, very hard to do very much. And typically, the response that most people do when they're facing a foreclosure in Georgia is to go into a Chapter 13 to essentially repay the debt, the missed payments over time. The reason for that is it's very difficult to have enough time in the less than 40 days or even a couple of months that you may have, but with all the notices and so forth, to work out some sort of a deal that gets everybody satisfied. My experience has been once the property goes into foreclosure and it's sent over to the foreclosure attorney, there's really not much you can do other than file bankruptcy. But again, as we'll see, there are a couple of other options. So the foreclosure process in Georgia, again, is non-judicial. And what that means is that when you signed your mortgage paperwork, you also gave essentially a power of attorney to the lender to sell your property in the event of default. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but if you actually look at the loan paperwork, you'll see that you gave a power of attorney for them to do that. So what will happen is if you fall behind, typically, and again, every case is a little bit different, but typically the lender will send you a letter saying that you are in default and you need to deal with this relatively quickly. Normally it takes a couple of months. They'll send you a couple of different letters. If you don't do anything or reach out to them within a couple of months, normally it's going to be referred over to a foreclosure attorney. Again, they can do it immediately, but normally they give you a couple of months because most lenders would rather have your money than another house in their inventory. But if you don't take any action, or sometimes even if you do, it'll be sent over to the foreclosing attorney's foreclosing lender's attorney. And there's maybe 5 or 6 law firms in town, in any big city, that do most of the foreclosure work. So once the foreclosure has been referred over, then the law firm will then file written notice of the foreclosure. They're supposed to send you a letter, certified mail and regular mail. They also have to advertise the foreclosure, and this is where that power of attorney comes into play, in the official legal newspaper in the county where the property is located. Now, the official newspaper may be some newspaper you've never heard of. And without getting into great detail, a lot of these official newspapers are small little newspapers that somebody knew somebody and got the rights to be the foreclosure organ for that particular county. So, for example, in DeKalb County, Georgia, it's some small paper no one ever heard of, no one really ever reads, but it's listed there. So it's not likely you're going to see it in the big newspaper. In Atlanta, for example, we have the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Foreclosures are not listed there. They're going to be listed in the Fulton County Daily Report, the DeKalb, whatever the news reporter is there. Cobb County's got its own one. So you're not going to say no about it. Now, you may get some letters from investors and bankruptcy attorneys letting you know your property's in foreclosure, or you may not. But in any case, that's how you know. And if the property is advertised for 4 weeks in a row, then the following Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the following month, your property will be sold on the courthouse steps. So if things don't go well for you, you get notice of foreclosure. The lender starts advertising in the legal newspaper for 4 weeks in a row. And the first Tuesday of the next month, your property will be sold to the highest bidder or back to the lender. And title passes and you are done. There's nothing you can really do. There's some very rare situations where you could argue about due process and so forth, but you're going to have money to pay an attorney to do that. Big picture, once title's passed in foreclosure, you're kind of out of luck. Now, we can stop foreclosures literally the day before the sale, that first Tuesday of the month, by filing Chapter 13. But again, you don't want to wait until 2 or 3 days before the sale to start looking for an attorney, because many attorneys don't want to mess with those cases until you've really, unless it's been at least a week or so beforehand, because there's a lot of work in getting a Chapter 13 together, and last minute filings don't always work very well. So that's how foreclosure works in Georgia. It can happen in as little as 40 days. You're supposed to get notice, but again, sometimes you may not. And again, if you get even a whiff that your house is in foreclosure, pick up the phone, call an attorney, find out what's going on. The lender, their attorney may or may not want to talk to you. Your attorney can probably make more headway in that regard. And if you need to file Chapter 13 to stop the foreclosure, give yourself some time to think about what to do, then that's what Chapter 13 is there for. So hope this has been helpful. If you did find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube or a like on Facebook. Any questions about foreclosure or bankruptcy or anything else law related, please let me know. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks.